Yeah, I know. I hate filming when it's not time yet. I like when it's dark. 6:30 and it's not dark yet. It will be. It's okay. In any event, welcome. It's August. It's time for your read. Let's find out who we're doing for August general read. Please check out the description box for everything you need to know. If you're checking out tarot readings and you know about all things esoteric, and therefore you will also know that when I hear things ringing on my right, it means that I'm also clairsentient, clairaudient, claircognizant, and therefore these are messages from people I know that have passed on my left. They're my spirit guides. Please check out your rising moon and Venus sign for additional messages. This may not resonate. We are doing Aries. Aries, it's your turn. That's you. That's you. Let's get it going. Oh, it flipped to Taurus. You might be an Aries Taurus cusp, but it's Aries time right now. We're going to use the Nicoletta Ceccoli deck. I wanted to get decks that I could actually shuffle. Now, just like the Rackham Tarot, which actually I do want to say, I reviewed, and I talked about the High Priestess ad nauseum during that reading, and old AD over here was being stupid and talked about the High Priestess, and it was actually Empress energy the whole time. However, the Empress is the mother of the High Priestess, so maybe it was meant to be the High Priestess. Who knows? But I apologize. Also, during the future portion of the reading, I talked about the Queen of Swords, and it was actually the King of Swords, which means it was Aquarian energy, not Libran energy. I apologize for that as well. I will always make corrections when I can. Now, because these are two conventional decks, well, non-conventional decks, the pictorials on them are not succinct with our Rider-Waite. They're loosely based on the Rider-Waite. Means that I'm going to have to consult the booklet, because although they like to kind of be based on the Rider-Waite, the pictures on them they are not, as they're not in line. They're not aligned with the Rider-Waite as much as I would like. So sometimes I have to look just to make sure. I've been reading tarot for 24 years, and it just doesn't happen that way sometimes. Sometimes I don't memorize Roman numerals versus major arcana meanings. I intuitively read, right? But nonetheless, let's get started for you. Nicoletta Ceccoli. We're going to do a past, present, future spread. This is your August general read, Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Twist for fairness for you. And let's get started here. I want to try and get as many done tonight as I can, but I've been up since like 5:30 in the morning. So I'm probably going to go to bed super early. Past, present, future. So in the past for you, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, what do we got? I'm also not doing clarifiers unless I do a love read, because I'll do a different spread for that. Anyway. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Oh, I do have a flipper in here. I thought I did. Where is it? Where is it? I saw it. Okay, whatever. If I find it, I find it. If I don't, I don't. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'm also preheating my oven, so you'll find that's too many. Aries. Okay. So this is I want to see, this is the Queen. I'm going to consult this time instead of being an asshole and reading things the wrong way. Queen of Swords in the reverse. Impartiality on its head. So Aries sees, Libra sees on its head. So this is a lack of bias in the recent past, the inability to exercise impartiality, something that you were attempting to exercise fairness and conciseness and intellectual, energy over in decision making. However, it didn't seem to be the case. It seemed to be that you were, exercising decision making with emotion involved rather than intellect. Let's see what else. Aries. Your emotions were attached to decisions. You couldn't be unbiased in your decision making, or you felt like even though you're trying to be impartial in your decision making, it was impacting you. Your emotions were impacting you in your decisions. And you felt a sense of injustice. Injustice. There was a deep sense of injustice over your decisions in the recent past, no matter what you tried to do. I thought I saw a card that had flipped in this deck when I was shuffling, but I'm not seeing it now. Maybe there never was one. In the past, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have? Come on, talk to me. I'm so goddamn sick of this place I'm hearing. Oh, Six of Swords. So movement forward. Movement forward, a trip over water, moving from one place to another, respite, escape even, I'm hearing on this side, escape from a situation that was in turmoil to another that is more calm, calmer waters. Moving to calmer waters, movement forward into calmer waters. This is still movement forward, but it's over water. There's always a trip over water here. So whether it's a vacation or something else. Do you see this person has the... Sorry, I'm creeping on the back. My belt line is creeping on my chair. You see this person has almost like an ice pack bundle on their head while the other person is rowing the boat away. It's almost like a healing journey. It was being taken in the recent past. Something in order to recuperate from loss, grief, in some nature. Over water, though, it's always a trip over water. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. It was a healing trip. It was a trip to move forward, a trip to understand things better. Understand things better, to gain understanding over situations in order to move forward. What else? In a sense, to gain perspective. We got you. The Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles typically is about independence, gaining independence. So it might be that there was, as a result of this moving forward, that you gained independence, you gained a sense of independence, standing on my own too, right? So that's what ultimately the Nine of Pentacles is about, is the recognition that you are able to stand on your own 2 feet, that you have a sense of independence that you've gained over a situation or over, just in general, the ability to recognize that you have independence. And maybe that was a part of the healing journey that you took. And some realization that you were seeking in and of itself was the recognition that you were, that you had independence that maybe you didn't recognize in the past. Sorry, I'm feeling something here. Anyway, and then we have, I believe this is the Chariot. I'm fairly certain this is the Chariot card, but it's in the reverse. So it's almost like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward. Chariot card in the, no, that's you. That's Emperor, 4. I don't even need to look. That's you in the reverse. 4 in the reverse. A feeling of disempowerment. It's almost like you were powerless to stop something. So although you felt like you had this sense of independence, stand on your own too, there was something that you were powerless to stop in the recent past. And so let's see what that was exactly. We will read the dignities as well in the present and in the future, because I do pull down when I look at the cards moving forward. So let's see. What is it? That sense of disempowerment. You know, we always see that as warmongering, tyrant, as opposed to a leader who is standing in the right power. But I feel here that it's a loss of power, like the powerless to stop something, you know, because you had that Nine of Pentacles there after coming back from a healing journey, right? So what is it exactly where all of a sudden the Emperor is turned on its head? Because that's your card. Let's see. We have 3. Okay. Struck of luck or a gift from God. Struck of luck by garbage. Ooh, I never get that kind of stuff for this. X and mark the place. The Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Struck of luck or a gift from God. Hand of fate or the Devil's Claw. From below or the saints above. You call to me. So this is a song by Garbage. It's a reversal in fortune that made you feel disempowered. There was nothing that you could do to stop anything. There was nothing that you were going to be able to do that was going to quell this feeling of disempowerment. It was something that you were powerless to stop because it came from a hand of fate or the Devil's Claw. Literally. So it was something that it was meant to be. It was fate. Struck a luck. It's a song by Garbage. I'm getting it on both sides, which is interesting. I've gotten that for another sign. I can't remember which one it is. But if we think about it, struck a luck or a gift from God, hand of fate or the Devil's Claw, from below or the saints above, you call to me. So it's a deeper calling, a deeper knowing that you have, and you understand, you have a deep knowing that whatever happened with this disempowerment, with the relinquishment of your power, your ability to call the shots, was something you just had to hands off. You had to. You didn't have a say, and it was okay. You couldn't fight it. It was something that was a deeper calling. It was a reversal of fortune, yes. It was a reversal of fortune, absolutement. However, it's interesting that I said that, because look who this is. That's Napoleon. But it was a reversal in fortune. There was nothing that you could do to stop it. That you were powerless in a sense. But it was a stroke of luck. There was nothing that you could do. And you relinquished to it because you understood your place. And that's interesting because normally you would be the one to stand firm and go, no, that's not. I can fight this. But this here is disempowerment. This is going, okay, no, I can't. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. A lack of contract. And the false beginning of something, or something that did not begin, an offer that you thought was coming to you that did not. I can relate to this. I thought I was being offered something the morning that I got given the boot. I was like, oh, this must be an opportunity coming to me. And unfortunately, it was me actually the opposite, the exact opposite. I lost everything instead of being given an opportunity. So for you, maybe not as radical, but you could have been encountering a situation where you thought a contract was coming your way, and there was no new beginning on the earthly plane for you. So instead of having the new beginning or the new contract or the new offer, you ended up just staying in the same place. Disappointing, yes, absolutely. But we are all where we're meant to be for a reason. Everything has a higher purpose. And so the understanding of that will help you in the future. Let's look at the present, shall we? We do have one card that's already down for the present. It is the Five of Swords. So in the present, there is a feeling of self-deception, as if you were fooling yourself. Like the entire time you may have been fooling yourself even. Or something about taking a look at things from a biased perspective, or trying to look at things from a perspective you did not. You lacked impartiality, and you felt like if you took a trip or you took time away to gain perspective, that you were going to gain impartiality, but it seems to be that there's self-deception here. You're cutting your nose off to spite your face. A feeling as if, and this is what I love about the Nicoletta Ceccoli tarot, is it is Ukrainian. And so some of these old adages might come to me just through my own ancestry. Probably, maybe, I don't know. I'm Ukrainian. It's fine. But cutting the nose off to spite the face. A feeling as if there's deception here. You felt as if, yes, you might have been exercising some bias in some nature, or there might have been people who were providing you with insight and advice at the expense of bias and partial opinion. And you tried to gain perspective by taking a trip or taking some time away. But now in the present, you're starting to see where that wasn't necessarily to your benefit. And where you deceived yourself. Or where you fooled yourself in some way. There's lying to yourself that happens with this card here. Somebody has wrestled you to the ground and is ready to chop that carrot. You're the carrot. You know? Let's see what else. In the present for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We have two that have flipped over. So lack of action forward in a passionate nature. This is a Sagittarian card for me. Now you feel that you cannot take any action forward because anytime that you take action forward, it feels that you're like the whipping boy. It feels as if when you take passionate action forward that it is going to be met with resistance, or maybe it's not right, or it's going to result in a chain reaction of sorts that could have negative implications. Because normally in the upright, this guy doesn't think very much about ramifications of any sort. He's passionate, he moves forward, he makes the efforts, and he is very unapologetic about that. However, it's on its head. Feel like you're apologizing for any action you make moving forward, perhaps. Following that, yeah, at the expense of your independence, you feel like it's going to have consequences that impact your independence to make any independent decisions, independent effort moving forward. So it's like you can't make any passionate action moving. That's not like you, Aries. You're not the type of person who doesn't strike forward and do worrying about the ramifications of what you do. You make no apologies for the passionate action that you make moving forward. Of course, that's because you also understand well ahead of the game what you're going to do. Sorry, I'm getting messages from my child's grandmother, and it's very distracting. But it's not like you to ask permission, because you already know well ahead of the game what the consequences will be of your actions. You've already had you've already exercised careful forethought prior to exercising passionate action moving forward. So it's almost condescending when people judge your actions moving forward, right? But you feel stuck. There's stuck energy here, and you feel in the present, it feels here, as far as the cards are showing, that any exercise of action or effort moving forward of a passionate nature, or if you're trying to exercise any type of leadership energy moving forward, anything where you speak out or strike out on your own, is going to be met with resistance and is going to impact your independence. We do have something promising here for you, and it is firm foundations on the home front or in the marriage bed. Four of Wands is, of course, about the four posts of the marriage bed, the four posts of the four walls of a home. So It's almost like this isn't this reticence here to act out, to do what you would normally do, which is in your nature to strike out passionately and to be the trailblazer, is something that you are preventing yourself from doing in order to, it's like self-preservation. I'm getting that with that 9, self-preservation, and preservation of all that you've built thus far. As far as your home space, as far as your, relationships, as far as everything that you've built, your home, your relationships that have remained intact. You're worried to strike out and do something different or be passionate about anything, because if you do, will that then impact and topple those walls or those 4 posts? You feel disempowered because you can't act in your unapologetic authenticity. That's quite sad, if I think about it. Because the very nature of being an Aries is that you strike out and you are unapologetically authentic. You are, by nature, a disruptor. Not without. It's not like you do so irresponsibly. Aries energy is naturally disruptive. However, I will say that it's not misinformed. And so to be somebody who is unable to strike out, to be pioneering, to act in your power, to exercise leadership energy, to call the shots from an informed standpoint, to not be able to do that is very disempowering to you. And it's almost, yeah, makes you feel, for lack of a better term, they're telling me over here, it makes you feel impotent. And I don't mean so from the sexual sense. It's got nothing to do with sexuality whatsoever. It makes you feel powerless. Powerless to prevent things, but also powerless to be who you are. And it's not who you are to allow others to act out of ignorance when you know better. Yet there's a part of you that knows that if you don't go along with the current of energy that's flowing at the present time, that you're going to impact the 4 walls of your home, the 4 walls of your marriage bed. You're going to impact your ability to stand in your independence. Yet it's also disempowering to you. But you're deceiving yourself in this, in the present. You know that's not who you are. What else? What of it? Come on, Aries. Tell me more. It's really shitty. It's a really shitty environment to be in as the fire that you are, to not be able to there's something about that song. It's not necessarily the song. What is it? Firework by Katy Perry. I don't know Katy Perry for shit. I really don't. But it's not necessarily the song Firework by Katy Perry, but it's more the effervescence that it embodies. You're too effervescent to allow for other people to dictate when you know better. And when comes the time when you go, no, I know better than that. And this is not the right choice, and this is not the thing to do, and this is not right for this, and this is not what we need to, you know. And this can be in relationships, this can be in family situations, this can be in, this can be in a multitude of different scenarios. But it seems to be that you're not able to express. And what is right and correct is not being followed, and it is more than a splinter under your paw. You might have Leo in your chart as a result of me saying that. But it just seems to be that there is like you just don't even feel like you feel like somebody who's like a figurehead without the ability to act or the ability to call the shots. Somebody else is calling the shots while you're the title? Tell me more. There's something in your life where you're saying you're the one who is in charge, but you're not the one who says what goes. I'm sorry, this is super relevant because, like, I'm Aries rising. So I'm getting this. It's hitting home. I'll have to watch this back. Anyway, keep going, Ash. For August. 7 of Cups. You have options, though. You might not realize it right now, but in the present, you actually have options. You have things that you can do. Be careful, though. This is also about building castles in the sky. It's also about, hey, don't go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I'm getting that here with this imagery. But also, it's like playing whack-a-mole. We hit the nail on the head, but sometimes it sinks down the hole before we have a chance to smack it. Right? So it's the same with any 7 of Cups energy, If we looked at the classic Rider-Waite interpretation of that, we'd be looking at a bunch of cups there. And there would be some cups that contain poison. Some that look like they're amazing, but they have phantoms in them. Some that look like they have all of the gold, but it's really glitter. And some that look like they're nothing, like they're a cup of shit, but it's fucking chocolate. Honestly. And it's up to you to exercise the appropriate discernment. The problem is right now for you, reading the dignities with this, is that you've had a twist of fate that is and made you feel completely disempowered. And you don't feel that you can exercise careful forethought and proper judgment when it comes to decision making. There's this inkling within you that knows your independence, that is confident, and you should be confident. Your, by very nature, Aries has always been confident and able to exercise proper decision making and just trusts in themselves, that they know what is the right thing to do and the right decision to make. However, at the same time, you've had a couple of things here in your past that have made you second guess yourself and have also impacted your decision making from top down. There's a top down feeling here. Like other people are telling you what's best instead of you knowing what's best. And therefore, you then start to second guess what is best, because there are other interlopers kind of telling you what's best. What do you feel is best? You have to ask yourself at a certain point, does what you feel matter? And if what you feel doesn't matter, are you in the right environment? Because up until you hit that energy in the past, it seemed like you had a good exercising of independence. You knew what was what. You'd gained perspective. You knew. You were confident in your decision making. And everything was cool. And something else comes in and sideswipes the shit out of you, and all of a sudden you don't know anything anymore, or what you know doesn't seem to matter so much. Is that correct, even? Is it correct? That's something you have to ask yourself. And do you want to associate yourself with people who disregard your opinion, your feelings, and what you have worked hard to inform yourself of? I'm seeing it here. I'm seeing it here. Because it seems like the twist of fate comes in. And all of a sudden, that independence that you gained after your rest and your recuperation all of a sudden doesn't matter at all. Like all of a sudden something else comes in and is like, well, screw everything that Aries has done up to now. Just going to come in and tell you that you have no power over anything, and we're just going to decide. And in order to preserve what you built thus far, you just got to go along with it, right? Because you don't have a choice. Self-preservation. Self-preservation. Cannot act, cannot move forward with passionate effort because the self-preservation kicks in. But you do have options. You have to trust your inner instincts on those. Keep going. Keep going. Oh. 12. What is 12? I told you this was going to happen. You know, I used to remember what this one was in particular. 12. I used to know. Hangman. Okay, gaining perspective. Need to gain perspective. It's like I've been talking about this entire time. Gaining perspective. Piscean energy. The Hanged Man. Yeah, you need to gain perspective on something here. It's time. It might be time for you to turn inward to gain perspective, but I think it's just time for you to sit still. To watch what's happening around you. To really observe things as they are, as opposed to trying to, collect the opinions of others. There's nothing disempowering about that. Observation is how you arm yourself with information in order to make right action moving forward. That's what you need to do. I have to watch this back. But seriously, this is what you need to do in order to make the proper judgment calls and in order to take the appropriate action moving forward. It's always best to arm yourself with the correct information. And so, Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is not the Hanged Man because of a lack of choice. He's a Hanged Man because it is his choice. If we look at the classic Rider-Waite, he's up there of his own volition. He isn't tied to the post. He's literally in an inverted yoga pose. He can get up off that cross anytime he so chooses. He's there to gain perspective. He chooses to gain perspective. And once he's gained perspective, he comes down off of there and he exercises right action, armed with the choices and the perspective that he's gained while in that pose, the upside down pose, the inverted pose, in order to see things from a different perspective. This is the time for you to gain perspective right now. To understand what's going on around you, to see what people think, to see what people feel, to see what's happened, to take, it's like in the Bible and Psalms, I talked about this before, and it's always been a word that I actually, when I was a kid, this word just kind of popped out of my mouth one day, and I hadn't even read the Bible yet, but as I grew older and because I've studied many religions, not all of the religions, but many religions, Christianity, of course, as a Westerner being one of them, and as I came across Psalms, I saw this word like a million times, and it's Selah. And Selah, Psalms is actually like musical. and lyrical in its expression. Selah means pause for reflection. It's almost like when you're reading music and when you see the rest symbol when you're reading music, where there's the rest at the end of a bar of music. It means to pause for reflection when you're reading the Bible. It's a punctuated rest. And so that's what this is. Pause for reflection. Pause for reflection. Pause to gain perspective. Pause to look around you. Take a look around. Gather the opinions of others. And it's not even necessarily collecting the opinions of others. It's observation. Listen to what people are saying around you. You can even just be somebody who's silently observing and listening to what other people are communicating to each other. That'll tell you everything you need to know about the decisions that you've made, about the decisions of others, and about what you need to do moving forward in order to make the right decisions in the future, as well as exercise the appropriate action moving forward. You really will. Pause for reflection. Selah. Selah. Absolutely. And if you think about it in terms of musical expression, the reason that we rest, and especially when we have a punctuated rest in music, it's because we want people to be able to hear it and hear that space and reflect on what they just heard, especially when we have larger bars of rest. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes you'll actually see where it's not just for 2 beats or 1 beat or for 3 bars, but it's punctuated. This is punctuated rest to gain perspective. Okay. What else? One goes up here, one goes down here. Okay. Victory, homecoming, in the present. Triumph. So after this period, you can then move towards your triumph. You can move towards your success. There is almost justice being served. I don't normally say that for the Six of Pentacles, but there's justice being served to you for taking this respite, this moment to gain perspective. It's almost as if it's like the victory homecoming after war. You know? Guy, the knight riding in after battle with that flag raised saying, I won. After all. You know? That's for you to gain. But you have to gain the perspective previous to it in order to get that. You know? It's important. It's imperative for your journey. You know? I will say, though, if we look at this particular Six of Wands, which I don't normally see, there's a forlorn feeling on this queen here as she's riding in. There are battle scars. So this victory seems to be as if there were many things lost. So there are a lot of people cheering, and there are a lot of people that are, yeah, awesome job, Aries. They don't recognize the wounds of battle. From the battle that was fought, they don't recognize. They just see the win. They don't know how much shit it took to get there. They don't know all of the cuts and scrapes and mental agony that it took for that victory to take place. They have no recognition of that whatsoever. And they may never understand that. There's something linked to this perspective that's been gained that helps you recognize that the victory that you have, or that the homecoming that you have, is a victory. However, there was a lot of blood shed for the victory to be nigh. In the future, Ace of Cups in the reverse. There's a relationship beginning, or the beginning of a new relationship, or the rekindling of something that isn't happening necessarily. I feel like, especially looking at the dignities here, that because in the present there is no passionate action moving forward, or because it's almost like you were deceiving yourself. Like you thought something was just going to begin anew, or like there was going to be a renewal of something of an emotional sense, and it was just going to pick up where it left off. But because there was no passionate action moving forward in the future, there's not going to be any rekindling of that. It's up to you, but it's almost like that there's exhaustion. But you deceived yourself that it would just pick up where it left off, or that it would rekindle itself like always. You deceived yourself about that. You needed to put in an effort that you didn't. And so in the future, it's not going to just pick up where it left off. That's what that's saying there. Oh, I did have a flipper. I fucking knew it. I did have a flipper. I did. Is that the only one? It is. Okay. 7. 7. Is that our chariot? I think that's our chariot. No movement forward. I'm fairly certain that's the chariot. No movement forward. I'm fairly certain. Cancerian energy, if that's the case, yeah. No movement forward. No movement forward. Cancerian energy. Next Cancer season. No movement forward. No movement forward. There may be a change of address, or a trip over water, or a travel plan that might be delayed. But there's stagnancy here. You're stuck. The proper investment wasn't made. Also could be that because you are tied to a home, or tied to a situation that has to do with the 4 posts in the marriage bed, that you cannot move forward, or you cannot move addresses, or you cannot travel. But the passionate action moving forward is not happening because of these things. You fooled yourself into thinking it could, though. That's too many. No, no, no. Keep going. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus in the future. For August. This is just for August. Remember, don't fret, my pet. It's just for August. Okay? You too. Queen. It's Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Capricorn energy. But in the reverse, the lack of comfort in the home space. Okay. So because you cannot move forward, because you cannot take this trip, as a result of trying to preserve the home space, as a result of trying to preserve the firm foundations of a marriage bed, and also because you recognize some options that you've had available to you in the present, there's a lack of comfort, a lack of luxury. Also, this is feminine Capricorn energy. This upsets a Capricorn. There's disappointment here for a Capricorn in the future. No movement forward for a Capricorn. Or no movement forward towards a Capricorn. Travel. There's disappointment. Disappointment at the expense of keeping the firm foundations intact. Although you are very aware that this is an option. Yeah. 2 Pentacles in the upright. Right below the 7 of Cups. Yeah. You considered them an option. The lack of effort moving forward, and the inability to forge ahead, travel towards this, is because there is a risk that you could topple the foundations of something that seems firm and fixed to you. You realize it is an option. It's no more than likely, if you have had multiple options, you've been juggling 2 options. One of them is this. This option is comforting to you. One of the options is extremely comforting to you in some way, or represents luxury and the more earthbound pleasures, indulgence of, how do I say this in a tasteful way? There's something scintillating about one of these options that calls to you in a way that other things do not. You understand that in order to make a decision, and you do understand in the future that the decision is imperative, that you must exercise careful forethought and you have to gain perspective. But you also understand that the comfort and luxury of one of these options could very well threaten stability, either in the home space or in a previous connection that you have in the present. It's threatening to that. What else? Oh, that was easy. We got one that flipped, and we have one that's down on the board. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds here. The 7 of fucking Pentacles, investment. I think that how you're going to, the perspective that you gain in the future has to do with what's been invested. Who is invested in you? Or where has the investment been most prevalent? When you look at your options, where have you been most apt to invest your time, energy? And if you haven't invested much into any of those options, where have you felt the calling to invest your time and energy? Fucking weird. Okay. All right. There's impulsivity, though. So in the future here, with all of that being said, seems that you're taking an interesting turn. There's impulsivity here with this Knight of Swords. Impulsive action, Gemini energy. Gemini season. Gemini season. In between Pisces and Gemini seasons, Pisces is mid-February to mid-March through mid-May to mid-June. There's going to be some impulsive action. It has to do with investment, but also has to do with homecoming, triumph, and energy. You gain perspective during this time, and you're taking impulsive action towards somebody during this time that you feel the investment is most going to serve you during. Could also have to do with actual material investments, but I feel this is more to do with the juggling and choosing, making a choice. Because we have the 7 of Cups above that, and that's about options of an emotional nature. There's a homecoming, a victory homecoming, triumph. You're investing in something or someone. Then it's impulsive. It's something that other people didn't. This is like expect the unexpected. This is always expect the unexpected. When I see When I see Knight of Swords, it's like expect the unexpected. That's it. Unexpected action towards something. It's very swift. And it's not what people would normally expect. Gemini energy. It's duplicitous. It's like, I say one thing, I do the other. Overall energy for you, Aries. Four of Pentacles. You're saving up for something. Greed. Miserly energy. But more than that, it's holding things deep to your chest. Not necessarily revealing everything. Can oftentimes be the monetary sense. I feel like for you, it's all of these things. Trying not to spend too much, trying not to share too much, trying not to spoil your plans by sharing them with everybody, but also not sharing how you feel about too much. Sharing what's obvious, yes, but not necessarily the things that you've kept hidden, because you wouldn't want to A, jinx your plans, but also B, let the cat out of the bag before you know that it's actually the cat you want to keep, right? Especially in considering these cards here that we have in the present and in the future. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do your magnetic coach, Aries. Okay, I'm going to try and mix it up because I've had a lot of stuff that's been redundant. Okay. I will not make sentences out of this. Okay, and there you have it, Aries. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate your time. And again, remember, this is just for August, you know. I mean, it is supposed to be timeless, but it is finite. I don't intend for this energy to echo more than a month for you. And so if you're freaking out going, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, you know. And again, check out your rising moon and Venus sign, because, you know, this might not make any sense to you. I just read the cards. All right? Cool. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Bye. Aries, there's your board. Didn't I tell you? Look at 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. Yeah, Okay. All right. Bye.